The Sports Scouting Report with Lee Brecheen. Brought to you by Medine's Collision Center in Baton Rouge. Take control, choose Medine's. Grosse Savant Lodge, south of Lake Charles, the true sportsman's paradise. Treads and Care Company in Central, the tires you need, the service you want. Harvey Auto in Shreveport, Bossier City, the name you have trusted for years. And Gage in Baton Rouge. Get better connected with Gage. Here's your host, Lee Brecheen.
Hi, everyone. Lee Brecheen, your host of Sports Scouting Report. We've got a great guest all the way from Independence High School in Louisiana, Tangipahoa Parish. And, not far from Hammond, not far from Amite, not far from Kentwood, and all those great towns around Tangipahoa Parish. And we've got the head coach, Scott Shaffett. Scott, thanks for joining us.
Oh, thank you for having us.
I remember seeing the first game against the Redemptorist. Charlie Baglio was coach way back.
The legend.
You were on the staff at the time.
The legend.
The legend Charlie, if Charlie's watching. But I never forget, being able to talk to Charlie before the game. And, y'all's colors are LSU. It's the band has LSU music. And I mean, if you close your eyes, you think Charlie back then was on LSU staff. He ended up being on LSU staff for years. Right. And now you're the head guy for many years, and you were with Charlie. But what do you think about Bags, as they call him, and what was it like learning from him at Independence?
Well, I tell you what, I love Bags. I started out, I just did my student teaching under Bags, and I'm going to tell you what he told me. That was 28 years ago. And, at the time, while I was in college, I'd coached in some private schools, and I had a job offer in there. And I'll never forget, Coach Bags and I were riding down the road, and Coach Baglio told me, he said, "Coach, let me tell you something. Retirement's going to be here before you know it." He says, "You better make sure you get in that public school and stay there. That way you're investing in the future, not just investing in now." And it's the best advice anybody ever gave me, because I don't plan on retiring anytime soon. But just the fact that you got that investment in there, it was the greatest advice anybody ever gave me.
Charlie Baglio, brought the team to many playoffs. And, over the years, everything changes in all the, every town. Some years you have 80 players. Some years you got 20 players.
Yeah.
And, you've seen it when you took over, you had less than 20 players. And now you got more players, and you've built it up. And what is it like, Coach? People don't understand that, but what is it like to play with 20, 25 players? That's hard. It's
been a big transition, going through, you look at, Independence in its heydays. You're right. They had 80, 85 kids, and, a long tradition of winning and deep playoff runs and, trips to the dome, et cetera. So, when I was coming in, Bags, I talked to Bags on the phone, and Bags said, "Scotty," he said, "it ain't what it used to be." And I said, "Coach, I know it's not." I said, "But, I started out there, and there's a pride in Independence like no other place. I mean, it's special here." And so when that job came open and Keith Corona was retiring, I really felt, I'm telling you, there's nothing like Independence pride, man. The community. These people back you 1,000%. The businesses back you. The people back you. It don't matter whether you got 25 kids or 85 kids. I tell you what, this community, it's special. I promise you, it's special.
And y'all have been competitive, Coach, with low numbers. Every year, y'all very competitive.
We have, and we're getting better. The thing is, there's some things we had to fix. There's some things, and anytime you're going through a transition, you're going to work out the kinks. And so we had some kinks we had to work out. And right now, I feel we're at the best that this program's been since I've been here, and probably in a while. I think in even several years before I got here, I think the program is back to reaching its peak and getting back to those days. We got a great junior class coming in. It's a small senior class, but it's a great junior class. And this junior class, they've been starting for 3 years. I mean, when I tell you, that's who's been on the football field. We lost some seniors that were very dedicated to the program. That was big for the program. But they allowed this junior class come in to really grow. And that's the biggest thing. And they have grown. And I tell you, this summer, I can see the competitive edge in these guys like I have not seen since I came here. And I'm going to tell you what, these guys they're ready for some football. They're fired up.
Coach, we're going to talk about your players later in the show, but I want people to kind of get a little bit more respect about football, especially parents that maybe don't even go around to the schools. They just drop their kids off, right? Some of them say, okay, coach says you got to make your workouts, or coach says, you got to go 7-on-7, or you got to lift, or you got to run. And I mean, right now you're doing 7-on-7 for 3 or 4 hours a day with other teams. You talk to Jace, you're feeding teams that come to your school. This is all day. People don't realize it's not just, go run a couple of miles and throw a couple of footballs. This is like 7 in the morning to 10 at night before school starts, right?
That's right. It's all started already. So what we get, we get in there and we try to get them in the weight room before 7:30 and try to get them out of the weight room, between around 8:45. And then we head out to the football field and we start warming up. And we've had Albany, we're here this summer. We've had Oak Forest here this summer. We've had, Pine, Sumner, Bornado. And so, so you get here, a lot of people think the summer's you off, you're done. Well, that's not the case. Summer's really our busy season because we're in the process of getting the field ready for this fall. We're in the process of, getting our summer workouts in, getting our summer conditioning, but also building on the programs. And then on top of that, you're not done with that. Right now you're ordering equipment. You're trying to get everything ready. So that way, when August 1st comes around, it's just smooth sailing.
Mention that, Coach, because look, that's a job in itself. It's not like you have an AD at a college, right? You're the guy. You and your staff has to get the tennis shoes, the helmets, the pads, and then you got to ask them, is it going to be in on time? When's it coming in?
That's a problem that, we have with shipping. And, we're going through right now a principal change. So there's another thing that throws you a curveball because, usually I like to have my stuff ordered by the, end of May and 1st of June. We're going through a principal change. So there's a lot of stuff that we haven't even gotten ordered yet. And with the shipping way things are, everybody knows how it is today in society. It's rough time getting supplies. Even if they have them in, if they got it in, it's taking a long time to get there. But a lot of stuff they're not in, simple things like mouthpieces, that becomes short demand. So little things like that become very, very crucial at this time of the year.
So parents, if you watch and your coaches are catalog ordering and talking to these guys, it's them. There ain't nobody else to do it, but the coaches, they have to do it. And then Coach, we're going to take a break. And when we come back, I want to talk about some of the famous people that have come out of Independence. The first one that pops up to me besides Baggs is LeBrandon Tollfield, who played at LSU. And if it wasn't for a couple of knee injuries, probably would still be playing in the NFL right now. We're going to come back with more of Coach Scott Shaffett, the head coach at Independence High School. We'll be right back.
Listen, whatever you're driving right now, Tommy Harvey wants it. Bring it in to Harvey Subaru, Lexus of Shreveport, Bossier City, or John Harvey Toyota. They're paying big bucks for all trades right now. They'll cut you a check right there. Tell them Lee sent you.
Hi, everyone. Lee Brecheen, the host of the Sports Scouting Report. Our guest today is Coach Scott Shaffett, Independence High School. If you don't know where Independence is, just, go to Hammond. You'll be taking a couple of probably lefts and rights, and you're right around the corner. It's right around the corner from Hammond, not far from Amite, very close to Kentwood, Greensburg. That whole area, it's like family with sports. Everybody, there's players everywhere in that area. Coach Shaffett, we're talking about famous people to come from the area. Technically, Kim Mulkey's not Independence, but Tickfall is in the school district. She ended up going to Hammond High School, like you mentioned, but that's someone that grew up right a rock throw from Independence.
At somebody that I'm going to tell you as a coach, you have to admire her drive, her work ethics, the success she's had. I tell you, if I could learn anything from, that's somebody that is from this area. You've had great coaches and great people come from this area. Kim Mulkey's one of the top names in across the board, you know, and we've had some great coaches come through here. But I can tell you what, I think probably the greatest coach ever come through Tangipahoa Parish is Kim Mulkey, without any doubt.
Coach, the Nick Saban of females, huh?
The Nick Saban of females. And I'm going to tell you what, you know, she'd give Nick Saban a run for his money.
Right. You're right about that. You're right about that. Still has the charisma and excitement for like a 30-year-old. And we're not going to say age because I don't think she wants me to tell her age. But she's still a young at her age, still young.
That's right.
Coach, I remember Aaron Lips came out of the program, big O lineman, played at Louisiana Tech, 6'5", 300. You were on the staff when he played there. Also, former Frank Lockett played for the Miami Dolphins, Independence High School. Stephen Giles, quarterback, played at Canadian Football League for a long time. President of ULM in Monroe, Nick Bruno, is an Independence native. I didn't know that, Coach.
Now, a lot of these names were on, while Keith was the head coach here, and during those years, I was actually competing against Independence. I was at Kentwood at the time.
Yeah, that's right.
I spent a long time at Kentwood. Hey, Makai, do me a favor, close that door. Y'all go around that way. Hold on one second.
Go ahead, Coach.
But yeah, so I was actually competing against those guys at the time and with Independence, and you know, because like I said, I spent years at Kentwood and loved it there, and you know, and had some many great years there, and every year we competed against Independence, and I'll tell you, it was always a battle. But all those guys were, you know, the Antron Sievers as well, you know. And look, this is the thing that I've noticed, okay, from Independence. It's not just in the athletic field, man. You go into oil refineries, man, these guys are running oil refineries. I've learned that since I've been here. These guys are, when I tell you there's some big names out there that I've met just since I've been back here, it's unreal, the people that have gone from here, Independence, a small town with a tight, great community, but has gone out throughout the world and doing amazing things.
Well, heck, Coach, the population in 2010 was under 2,000.
Yeah.
1,600.
And some great people have passed through these doors, I promise you. Some great people.
I want to mention some other people that are from Independence. Robert Cray, best-selling novelist. I didn't know that. Also, Cliff Richardson, former state representative. And Carl Marshall, former Southern soul singer. Carl Marshall from Independence. So a little music, famous people, novelists, probably people in the movies. We didn't even pull that up, but I mean, just for a town of under 3,000, not bad, you know, under 2,000.
Right. You know, don't leave out one of the legends is Buster Gazzardo, you know. Another one of them that's a legend in the state of Louisiana, you know, you know, on the national level. I mean, he was there. He was represented this area for a very, very long time, the state of Louisiana. You know, just a phenomenal figure that was from right here in Independence, in a small town.
It also says in arts and culture for Independence, at one time, it was referred to as Little Italy.
Little Italy, yeah. I remember when I was a kid growing up, I learned that when I was back then I was living in New Orleans. I was from New Orleans originally. And we would come up here and that's, man, with Little Italy. That's what they would tell us when we were passing by. So there's Little Italy. And at that time, you'd see the Italian Fest was going on, you know, and down the road, there was the Sicilian Fest. Now we have the Sicilian Fest here, it's Italian Fest. But yeah, oh man, it's crazy. But look, what I tell you, the culture here is so rich. The Sicilian Italian culture is so rich. I'm telling you, they've never escaped away from that. That's what they go by. That's why great things have happened. That's why great people have come through these doors. It's because when I tell you, you've got to respect the culture. You know, I'm one step away from putting an O at the end of my name. I'm telling you. It is great. I love it. I love the community. I love the people. I've never worked in a place that, you know, I mean, it's just phenomenal. The people and the community and the drive that they have.
And the food between Independence.
That's right. And the food. That's right.
Kentwood, A-Meat, Hammond, some good restaurants. We talked about Boston's the other day, and A-Meat, really good place. You love that place. I love that place too.
Oh, yeah.
Even Jace raised his hand and said he likes Boston's.
You can't be, man. I tell you what, if you find something bad at Boston, you in a because I can promise you they don't serve nothing bad at Boston. I promise that is great food from everything they got. I love it. One of our favorite places.
Even those Southeastern students know about Boston, like Jace when he went to Southeastern. We're going to take a break. When we come back, Coach, we're going to talk about high school football and the district you're in and some of the teams. Get your thoughts on your district and what it's like playing week to week and some of these tough teams that you face every week. We'll be right back.
If you need a paint job or repairs to your vehicle, go see Medine's Collision Center located in Baton Rouge, Louisiana on Kincaid Avenue. The number to call is 357-7983. That's 357-7983. Your Baton Rouge Accident Advisors.
Welcome back. Lee Brecheen, your host, the Sports Scouting Report. We got Coach Scott Shaffett with us from Independence High School, right outside of Hammond, right by a meet. Tickfall, Louisiana is down the road, as they say, where Kim Mulkey is from. And look, Coach, your district, a ton of talent in the district, a lot of good teams. Talk about the teams you play every week.
You know, it's this year, our district changed. You know, of course, we lost A-Meet. They moved up to AAA. Kentwood went back down to single A. Bornado as well went back down to single A. So we moved back over to the district with St. Thomas. Us and St. Helena, that was in the old district. We moved back into the district with St. Thomas, Northlake, Springfield, Pope John Paul. So we're back in that district, and, you know, you're away from, and you know, this district's a great district, you know, but, you know, the thing you look at the district before, you always had the state champion, either A-Meet, state champion Kentwood, you know, you're competing with those type schools. St. Helena, phenomenal talent and so forth, you know, so, but we're looking forward to the new district, you know, new transition. It's a great district still. They have a long tradition. St. Thomas, I think, has won the district the last couple of years, and St. Thomas has really looked well as too, but there's also some other teams in there, you know, Springfield, Coach Surpass has done a phenomenal job over there. Pope John Paul last year has really stepped that program up. They've come a long ways. So Northlake, they've got, you know, they've got some things going on in Northlake as well. So we're excited about it. You know, us and St. Helena coming back into the district. St. Helena is, you know, I don't have to tell you, I mean, just talent galore, to me, it's A-Meet B, you know, that's how much talent they have.
And they just picked up A-Meet B coach, Chris Gordon.
That's right. They just picked up A-Meet coach Chris Gordon, and I've been knowing Coach Gordon a long time. And I'm gonna tell you, Coach Gordon been coaching A-Meet for a long, long time. He went, you know, through the junior high program and to the high school program, and is a phenomenal coach. He's a disciplinarian. And one thing about Coach Gordon, you know, those teams are going to come in disciplined, and they're going to know football. You know.
Yeah, and then look, everybody looks at Pope John Paul and says, you know, hey, that program's coming. I talked to Coach. They got 65 kids coming out this year from 30.
I'm telling you, and they had a great season last year. And when I talked to the coach last, he was fired up. Yeah. You know, so it's going to be, I tell you, it's going to be a great district to watch this year. It's going to be a fun district, and I think it's going to be one of the better districts in the state of Louisiana. I really do when it comes to 2A football.
In Springfield, just want to give some props to Ryan, like you mentioned. His O-line averages 275, 280. As you know, they're big. I mean, it's Springfield. People don't realize that.
That's right. They are. They big. And don't ever, let me tell you something. This is what a lot of people don't realize. Springfield has always got some good basketball athlete that can play any sport and succeed and excel in any sport. So don't ever think he might have some big line, but he's going to have some athletes too.
He's going to have a guy who can tote that football too. Yeah,
that's right. That's right.
Train a running back every year, just like Independence has had great ones. You mentioned Coach Antron Sieber, one of my favorite players of all time that never played football at LSU, signed baseball. You know the story, went pro baseball. Back in the day, they didn't really want to go football. They, went pro. And well, how good do you think he would have been, Coach, if he wouldn't have went pro baseball and actually went to LSU?
I tell you, man, I'll never forget that. I'll never forget that during that time period. He had those options ahead of him and so forth. And now whatever, Boy, it's hard to say. I tell you, because he was such a talented, gifted athlete. He's one of the best athletes come through this area. And again, he's another one that he's just a special athlete. He succeeded in anything he touched, whether it was a football, a baseball. It's one of those guys that I don't care if it'd been badminton, a pool, or whatever it was. He was going to succeed in everything he done. And I wish I could have seen him play at LSU. I would love to have seen that, but he chose the other option, which, it is what it is. But I tell you what, it was a big loss at that time for LSU.
Just so people remember, if you're too young to know the name, back in the early 2000s, late 90s, Antron was 6'1.5", 185. And like Baglio would say, ran that legit 4.40, one of the few.
Oh yeah. No, that's right. It was
him and Hofield were phenomenal together. And I look at that area, and I look at Michael Carr from Amite.
Yeah.
I look at Sieber, Tollfield. Those are the guys that stick out to me overall. And had a D-tackle Doty that went to South Carolina from St. Helena Central. Stanley Doty, that was an animal, 6'3", 310. Go ahead, Coach.
Stanley Doty's son is one of our younger linemen as well. He had one that just graduated this past year, played on the line for us, offensive, defensive line, phenomenal kid. He's got another son that's going to be a sophomore that plays for us this year. Big kid, big, strong kid. So Stanley Doty, you can go Michael Jackson, Shaheen Carter from this parish. This parish, you can go up I-55 and you can name guys that played in the NFL and all throughout the country and college. The talent has been phenomenal.
Yeah, Brad Davis at Hammond High School, LSU, and then you got Devontae Smith won the Heisman Trophy. We can mention 60 of them just from Amite, but we're going to take a break, Coach. We'll come back. We're going to talk about your team coming back. You got a lot of good little running backs, guys that you cross-train. A lot of you guys have to play O&D, but they're used to playing offense and defense. That goes back to Bags. I know that y'all been having guys cross-train for many years at the skill spots, and a lot of linemen coming back for you. A lot of 3-year starters. We'll be right back with Coach Scott Shaffett, the head coach of Independence High School.
Be sure to take your car and truck for all your tire needs to Treads and Care Tire Company located in Central. The number to call is 331-8144. Family owned and operated since 1971. That's Treads and Care Tire Company.
Welcome back. We're back with Scott Shaffett, the head coach of Independence High Schools. Coach has got the weight room, the locker room. Guys are coming in and out, wanting to know what they need to do. They're lifting. I know they're going to be doing 7-on-7. We're catching him before all this goes down. Coach, we're talking about famous players from Independence. Darren Brister was a phenomenal running back for the program. Probably ran for 5,000, 6,000, 7,000 yards.
And one of the greatest kids I've ever coached too. You're not just a great athlete. I was here his senior year, and I can tell you what, he still comes around. We do a crawfish cook-off started a couple of years ago, and he's there. He's going to be there. So Darren's phenomenal. Yeah, Darren was a great ball player.
Fred Booker, we forgot Fred was started at Independence High School and finished at, when you look at the football card in NFL, it says Hammond, but he was an Independence guy. Ended up playing with Donald Dykes at Hammond High School that went to Notre Dame. And they had a third DB that went to Notre Dame. There was 3 of them on that one Hammond team. Coach, talk about the team coming up. It's, you don't have 60, but you've got 30 really good football players. We're looking at, we'll have about 30, 35. I think we'll have a little more than that, but right now we got about 30, 35, and then we'll pick up a few more when the freshmen come in this fall. We'll pick up a few more ball players. But yeah, I tell you, the best part about this guy, y'all heard it before. They've been starting since they were freshmen. The year of COVID, we made a commitment to these guys. Some things wasn't going the way we come back from COVID, not the way we wanted to come back. We had guys that it took some time off, and they just never got back into the groove after the COVID. We got to sit out COVID. We missed the spring, missed the 7-on-7 summer, missed a lot of that kind of stuff. And so during the season,
we were looking at it and said, you know what, we got to do something. It's not going the way we want it to go, and we can either keep investing in right now or we can invest in our future. And at that point in time during the COVID season, we really made a transition, and we said, you know what, we got some great freshman talent. We got to get them on the field. Let them get to work now. Let them get beat now. Let the things happen right now. Don't worry about this season. This season's a half a season anyway. Let's worry about next season and the year after that and so forth. And that's what we did. So we invested in a great freshman class, and this will be their third year as starters. I tell you, they're very competitive, man. They push, they got drive. They're here every day. They work their tails off. They're in that weight room at 7:30 in the morning. They get out there on 7-on-7. And I mean, it gets rowdy some days 7-on-7. It is what it is, because like I said, anytime you got kids that compete, and these guys are competing, and you guys from Sumner are competing, and Pine are competing, anytime you got that competition, sometimes it gets a little rowdy, but that's one thing I like to see, because that's something we've missed, that compete, and it's there now. Now, I tell you what, these guys competing, I've got one, Gary Zanders, that when I tell you he's a cornerback of mine, when I tell you I'll never forget, as a freshman, we threw him out there, and he's going against some great wide receivers from A-Meet, and they scoring touchdown over him, but he's right there. And, man, and you're thinking to yourself, this kid's going to be really special. He's going to be special. He's right there. Well, let me tell you something. I'm telling you now, this cornerback you'll see down the road, when I tell you this young man has stepped it up this summer, he has been phenomenal. He's all over the place. He's about 6'2", maybe 160, 165. But when I tell you, he has been a lockdown corner for us all summer long.
You told me the other day, nobody catches anything on it. Nobody. Man,
I tell you, and we've gone some athletes, and I'm telling you, this kid has really stepped up his game. I've been very impressed with him, and I tell him every day how proud I am. And don't get me wrong, it's everybody. We got a bunch in that class, but to see how far this one has come, and he's been picked on. They picked on him as a freshman. Well, I can tell you what, I want them to pick on him now. Try to pick on him now, because let me tell you something. He has been phenomenal.
Yeah, not this time. Yeah, Coach, you like your quarterback a lot, and he's a junior, so you're going to have him 2 years, but you always have a good athlete at quarterback. Talk about your quarterback, because you really have a lot of confidence in him throwing it and running it.
Yep, Cardi is a running type kid. He's also a passing. He can throw, he can run it. He's an athlete, and it's great to have that athlete back there. He's going to be a junior. So, that's the thing is, that the quarterback, you like them to get a lot of reps and so forth. And he's getting better every week. I mean, he's another one. He's got drive, he's got passion, and sometimes he lets it get in his way. He's still got to learn what a quarterback can't be that guy. You can't be that drive, passion guy and get all fired. You got to, there's time to get fired up, there's time, but you got to kind of hold your cool, because everybody around you is reacting to you. So that's been the step this summer, to try to transition him in to be more of that, instead of that big fiery guy, because he is, to be more of that thinker now on top of the fiery guy. You got to think before that snap of the football. You got to look and see what people are covering, and look what's going to be open. Get rid of the ball a little bit faster. So we've been working on small things, some footwork, getting rid of the ball a little quicker, and so forth. These young guys, they think they can hold the ball for 5 seconds, and these poor line, they can't block that long, So
you can't do that in the NFL, Coach. And look, I'm glad you mentioned that. It's progression. You don't go from polish, you go raw. You need reps. Like you said, you get better. You can't do it all right away. You got to keep you cool, like you said. We're going to be back. I want to talk about your running backs. You're going to have a lot of guys run the ball. Your offense is suited to running the ball, and you got a lot of guys who are going to get a chance to, as they say, carry the rock for your team this year. We'll talk about your linemen, too, when we come back. We have more of Coach Scott Shaffett, Independence High School. We'll be right back.
Gros Savon Lodge, the true sportsman's paradise. Gros Savon Lodge has fresh and saltwater fishing, alligator hunting, waterfowl hunting, and eco tours located south of Lake Charles, Louisiana. Give them a call at 337-598-2357. That number to call again is 337-598-2357, and have the time of your life. Gage has served Louisiana for over 40 years. Let Gage create a custom-tailored solution for your business and become your partner in technology. Give them a call today at 225-753-4243 and help your business get better connected with Gage.
Welcome back. Lee Brecheen, your host, the Sports Scouting Report. We got Coach Scott Shaffett, the head coach, Independence High School. Independence, Charlie Bagley, Keith Corona, those two were there for, 30 plus years, 40 years. Now we got only 3 coaches. This is so impressive. How many high schools just have 3 coaches over 40 something years?
Yeah, I think it's been more like 50 something years.
50, yeah, 3 coaches.
Over 50 years, it's been 3 coaches, correct. That's right. That says a lot. That says a lot. You're right.
Loyalty for that program. Coach, we're talking about your quarterback, talked about your great DB. You got a lot of guys that are going to run the ball. And I know you have a lot of guys that play DB, that play running back, they play outside linebacker, they play running back. But you got some really good thumpers on the team. You got some good quick guys. But this is not an offense. You need 3-4 guys to get through a season running that ball. But name some of your backs. We talked about them the other day. You're excited about the different running backs you have this year and experienced running backs.
Yeah, they've all experienced. They've been playing, they've all got a lot of reps in. The biggest one that I'm going to say is my smallest one. He's not but about 5'5" and 145 pounds, Makai Bean. He's a little bitty thing, but he reminds me back that years ago, Lutcher had a little bitty running back that could fly. And he reminds me of that kid, Makai. He just can find a hole. He's tough. He can make, whether you throw the ball to him or you're running it, whatever, he can make great catches. And his work ethics is second to nobody. When I tell you that kid shows up, goes to work every day, Makai Bean never comes here and has a bad day. He's going to get everything he can. He's going to work. He don't miss a step. I tell you, I've never seen. He's one of those guys that are special, and you'll see him down the road as well. He don't have the size, but he makes up in his talent and his athleticism. And I'm telling you, most important, the heart and his work ethics.
Coach, wouldn't you like to see that with more kids today?
Oh my gosh, would you? If everybody had his work ethics and his character, and I'm telling you, if everybody had that, I tell you, it would be a phenomenal world. Just and not just in athletics, it'd just be a great place to live, and in the world today. Because let me tell you, this kid is special. He's going to succeed. I promise you. In anything he does, he's going to succeed. And he's never going to be late. He's never not going to work. He's just smart. You can't help but love the kid. And
Coach, you got 2 big guys that you're excited about. You told me the other day they're in the 230, 240 range, 5'11", 161, and they're battering rams. They can tote the ball for you. They can block. Play a little linebacker, a little DN for you, but you talk about those guys and how that helps your offense out.
I think this year, our fullback is the best. There's no doubt it's the best it's been. Our fullback position is the best it's been. I've got several guys rotating in that backfield. And they're, I'm going to tell you, they are big. And that's one thing that we've liked in the past. We've had the wing backs, we've had some, but we never really, and what we do, I always like having, I'm always looking for that fullback. And I like that fullback that can pound for 2 or 3 yards and just run over and just not go down. And I think now that, between the 3 fullbacks we got, David Johnson and Robert Stevenson and DeVoris Spears, between those 3 guys, I'm going to tell you, it's going to be hard to figure out who's going to be on the field because the newest one is David Johnson. And let me tell you, he hadn't dropped the ball all year long, and he's about 240 pounds. And we throw the ball to him all summer. And I'm telling you, when he's got hands, it's like a big old lineman coming at you that can catch and run, So
he's 6'1", right? 6'1".
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. And so that's, he's the newest addition to the offense. And I'm tell you what, he's had a phenomenal summer. And
you talked about, you don't have a lot of linemen, but the linemen you have are very good kids, very good size. But you've got 5, 6 guys that are going to play most of the game for you, but they're experienced. They got good size and strong kids.
Yep, we have a set of twins, the Burroughs twins, Elias and Elijah. That's our pulling guards, and both of them had great years last year, and they're both big kids. When I got them here as freshmen, they were around 300 pounds. Now they're around 245 and 260. And it's not, it's lean muscle now. So these same guys that they were way overweight as freshmen, they're not anymore. They're linemen and they can pull. And Elias is going out when he goes out. He's looking to take somebody's head off. We got Jawan West that plays on both sides of the ball. Jawan West is a smaller guy, a smaller lineman, but he's another guy just like Makai Bean. When I tell you this guy works and works, he's up here at 6 o'clock in the morning. He's fixing water bottles and ice coolers. And I mean, he don't know when to quit. He plays defensive end for us. He's going to be, hard to defend that Son gun, because I'm gonna tell you what, to stop him with the offensive line or the opposing line, because he's so fast getting to the backfield, it's unreal. But yet he's gonna be playing some center for us as well. So we got guys going both ways. But we do have enough line that we have backup that we can give them breathers and so forth.
I know you big on the weight room, Coach. You look like you can bench 400 right now, Coach.
I love it. I love the weight room. Back when I was coming up, Gerald Reeves was our football coach.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, Gerald Reeves was real big on the weight room, and it's just something that he instilled in me and continued throughout my life. I'm not that strong. I'm getting old, so but I do love it, and I think it's probably the most crucial. I know when I was at Kentwood, David Career, he was real big on the weight room, and he was big on structure and so forth and consistency. And so that's some of the things I learned from him. And so that weight room is extremely, extremely important. And I try to reiterate that to these kids every single day, how important it is.
Yeah, man. Bigger, stronger, faster wins in football, Coach. One last question for you. Very important question. I want you to honor and talk about your staff, and anybody you want to mention, from the trainer to anybody that helps you that you want to mention today that, their name wouldn't normally be thrown out, but, you got your O-line, D-line, and linebackers, receivers, coaches running. Some guys do multiple positions for you, but who would you want to mention on your staff? Mention as many as you want.
Well, I tell you what, I'm going to start with Coach Dave Masaki. Dave Masaki has been here at Independence the longest. I'm wanting to say he came in 2001 or 2002, and he coaches our offensive line and our D line as well. And so, how important the line is. That's what makes you go, is your O line and your D line. That's where it all starts. And he's done a great job. He's my assistant head coach. I can rely on him. He knows I don't have to say, Coach, look, we got it 7-on-7 this morning. We need the field painted. He's before you can even say something, he's out there getting the field ready. We got to serve these kids food. He's in the concession stand making sure our food's ready. So I'm telling you, that stuff like that's irreplaceable. When you got somebody that knows what needs to be done and you don't have to tell them and they get it done, that's hard to beat. Next, I got Justin Owens. He's been with us. He's been coaching our running backs since I've gotten here. Well, he's stepping up a little more. This year, I'm taking a little more, putting a little more on him. He's going to be calling plays, a lot of plays this year. Him and I are going to both work together on calling plays. I think we got a good relationship. I know he's fired up about it. He's done a great job this summer with 7-on-7 with it. The kids, they respect him, and he's grown and matured a lot as a coach. I think in the last couple of years, last year and this year, I've seen him really develop, and especially this year, I think he's taken that new role with the work ethic to go with it. You got to watch film. You got to prepare. You got to think ahead. It's on offense, and he's done that. So I'm in. It's going to be good to see him. We Coach Vernon Willie, he's still with us. He won't be with us on Friday nights, but he's a huge asset to us, because when I tell you, Coach Willie's another guy that he's our head baseball coach, but he's another guy that knows when something needs done. You don't have to ask him. He goes and does it. Our mower broke down. You know what? Guess what? Vernon Willie's out there bringing his mower. We getting out there cutting the grass. Little things like that are extremely important. He coaches our DBs. Vernon is going, his son is now the head coach at Ponchatoula, Coach Willie. Congratulations,
Yeah.
Willie. That's a big honor right there, moving up for a great program like Ponchatoula, who's coming off one of the greatest year ever of Ponchatoula football.
You got to mention Ronald McClendon too from there. So yeah.
And so, and that's the thing about it. He's not going to be with us on Friday nights, and I don't like it. But you got to accept, you can't blame him. He's going to Ponchatoula to watch his son. Now, if it wasn't his son, then I don't know. I'd have to flatten his tires or something, to make sure he's here. But that's his son out there. And I'm going to tell you, he's always been 1,000% behind Trey. As long as I've known him since I started coaching, he's always been right behind Trey with everything he's done. So, we're not going to have him on Friday nights, but we'll still have him working some during the week. And he's here during the summer doing baseball stuff and doing stuff with us and working out and so forth. We got a new addition on staff. It's probably a little early, but I'm gonna throw it out there anyway because it's a great hire for us. We got Coach Knight, David Knight, we're expecting to be over. He's been working with us this summer. We're trying to get him slid in here in one of our former coaches' slots. But he's been here working, without pay or anything. He just said, hey, I want to work. He wants to coach football. And he was at Albany last year, the head coach at Albany. Yeah. And so they went through some transitions. And so he's been with us, helping us this summer. And he's a great defensive mind. He's always thinking. He's a worker, a great guy. Your kids will love him. When I tell you they love him, they love him. He can shoot the bull with them. They can shoot the bull with the best of them, and the kids love him. So he's another one. I want to mention not only just coaches. I got another coach, Coach Greeley, coming over. He's going to be coaching my DBs as well. And Coach Greeley is a guy that he still holds the record at Nichols for interceptions.
Yeah.
That's a huge addition for us. That's a big plus. He was with us this spring. That's a huge plus for us, But I tell you what, I want to mention two people, and I'm going to tell you that is probably bigger than anybody else on this campus, on this staff, or this football, and that's J.B. Ciccone and John Polito. Because let me tell you something. When you got guys that have followed the program their entire life, from the time they could walk until the time I'm telling you, they are still here there at every practice, at every game. You can't beat them. This morning I'm cutting grass at 6:15. JV sitting on the bench watching me cut grass at 6:15. That's guys that will go way beyond. That's what I look for in the community, that kind of support, those guys that are there. And so they may not be on our staff technically, but I'm telling you what, they are part of their heart of independent football. So
their DNA's every day for that program. You need that. That's great to hear, Coach. And I want to mention all the athletic trainers out there for all Louisiana. We really appreciate them. Coach, those are people that have to come to practice. They go to games, and I know y'all have different people that y'all use, but athletic trainers, we got to have them. Some volunteer.
Yeah,
some paid and some are appointed.
This summer it's been interesting because like we said, we're doing 7-on-7, so those trainers are there, and ours is from North Oaks, and North Oaks provides our trainer, and he does a great job, but they're there when you got 7-on-7. Before one thing you want to make sure that it's safe, and it's we want to protect our kids, and that's a very important part of them being there. And Pine brought their trainer travels with them 7-on-7, and our trainers there, so that's one less thing on the plate, but probably the most important thing on the plate, because we got to protect these kids. That comes first.
Yeah.
It's more important than X and O's and so forth. And those trainers are the guys that's getting it done and helping and making sure we get fluids in them and just little things this time of year, hot, and that they're safe. And so it's very important that, North Oaks and the Oshners of the world and Children's Hospital of the world, because they support that kind of stuff, and they back there and they back the schools, and they provide that trainer and that medical staff that really plays a major part in, athletics altogether.
Well, Scott Shaffett, thanks for joining us. Keep grinding, man. You got energy. Jace feels it over there. He's on the other side of the our little studio setup here. But I mean, you got the energy. It's contagious. I know you guys play hard. Y'all going to grind, and I know y'all got a chance to have a really good year this year. And hopefully it goes deep, deep. You know, you never know, but hopefully it does. But I know the guys are working hard to get there, and you got a good staff, like you mentioned. Great community. People visit Independence when you go to a football game. If you're just a sports fan and you live in Baton Rouge, go take in a game. Go watch. Go take in the community in Independence in that area. You know, meet those areas, and good people. Thank you. Don't go anywhere. We're going to end the show. I want to thank Coach Shaffett from Independent. I know he's got to go get ready for 7-on-7 and go in that weight room. Make sure people lifting weights, squatting, cleaning, that whole thing, man. Bench press, all that good stuff guys do this time of year. But we will have the show on YouTube. You can go to wherever you get your podcasts. We're on Podbean for apps, but you can go wherever you get your podcasts. You go to lafootballmagazine.com. I interviewed Coach last week, and we're going to do a big preview on Independence in our magazine. And you go to our website to get magazines, lafootballmagazine.com. If you're watching the show, we have all the schools in the area in it. I interviewed Coach. Jason interviewed some guys, and we're almost done. We got 5 schools left, Coach, to interview out of almost 300. 5. And me and Jace are, we can feel it, but it's a good feeling. We enjoy it, but we're happy, and we're going to have the magazine out in late August. But Coach, again, thank you.
Thanks for listening to the Sports Scouting Report podcast with Lee Brecheen.